Welcome to Bridge War. Behold, your kingdom. Well, not your kingdom, my kingdom, but I don't see a reason you can't stick around a while and learn a thing or two. Look at those islands. Peaceful, calm, stocked with cannonballs, vampires, and knife-wielding skeletons. Yeah, it's gonna be that kind of game. It's not called Bridge Tea Party, is it? There are bad people out there, and they're coming to take the gold out of your vault. And you've got the right pack of werewolves to stop them. There, in your inventory. Each of these cards another soldier in your army, another cog in your unstoppable war machine. Earned through various deeds of daring do, completing challenges, or looting your friends and relatives. Either way, you'll use the ones on the right to go out and pilfer whatever they can carry to bring it home. And on the left, well, you use those to make your death trap. If you click on the structure tab in the bottom right there, it'll pull up your map. Do you see those pink beacons floating out in space? Well, all you have to do to build your abominable puzzle is simply drag a card onto one of those beacons. It's really up to you to make the most efficient meat grinder for any enemy soldier that dares to cross your threshold. As you can see, there are varying types of traps, watchtowers bristling with archers, flamethrowers, and cannons packed with explosive power, just to name a few of your options. Anytime you change your mind, no problem. Simply drag the island to a new location. Any of those pink beacons will do, so long as you can attach the bridges in the right order. If it turns red, you simply can't place it there. Anywhere green is good. Similarly, if you feel like you need to replace a card on the map, simply drag it down to the bar at the bottom, and pull a new card and place it onto another beacon. Find a configuration that works for you, go for a theme, or simply crush your opponents. You really only have to observe two hard and fast rules. 1. Stay within the cost set in the bottom left just above the cards there. And 2. You need a viable route for your enemies to appear at that red flag at the top, find their way to your seal tower, that blue crystal in the bottom, and then back to your vault to raid it for all the gold. Of course, we want to stop them from doing that, but it wouldn't be any fun if they couldn't have a shot, right? Back at the home screen, we'll choose Stage in the bottom left. This will take us to all the scenarios we can test our forces against. Since we've just built a base, why don't we test it in a defense scenario? Here, all the traps you set up will be tasked with defending your vault. See that red flag? Wave after wave of enemy is going to throw itself against your forces, starting from that location. It's up to everything you've built to keep your gold safe. However, they don't have to go it alone. As Overseer, you have access to a selection of magical spells. There on the right side of the screen is the energy you have to cast them and the spells you can select. Here, we have an ice spell used to freeze those warlocks. While frozen, the enemy can neither do nor receive any damage, so it's most useful when you need to buy yourself that crucial couple of seconds. If you need any further explanation for spells, they can be viewed from the status screen, where you can also swap them out or upgrade them, but we'll discuss that later. For now, let's just watch these poor warlocks get torn apart. When you achieve victory in a scenario like this, you'll be presented with an option of 3 random cards, which can either earn you a select amount of gold, or a unit appropriate for the level of scenario you've just completed. Simply choose your card, and let's go on to the next scenario. Any gold earned during the scenario will be added to your total in the top right. The other resources up there, gems and mana, will be covered later on. For now, let's try another defense scenario, because hey, who doesn't love free money? Again, it'll go to our home base, where the enemies will assault us from that deployment flag that you place as part of your construction. Whether attacking or defending, always be on the lookout for good combinations that you can steal. In this case, I'm not talking about those Reapers. That's just a sad brute force attempt. However, my skeletons and cannons are making fairly good work of them. In this case, a stout melee fighter like these skeletons can really bunch all of those attacking units together, and the explosive area of effect of the cannons can deal the biggest amount of damage. Although you will notice that a few of them are making it past the skeletons and even laying a few low. Well, since they're starting to play serious, I guess we can too. A freeze spell, judiciously cast, will actually freeze all units on an island, like this. And then, just to add insult to injury, we'll heal all the damage they've done. There you are. All structures repaired. Now all we're waiting for is those Reapers to unfreeze. Ooh, it's sort of like Groundhog Day, only with eternal death instead of winter. Another swing of the blade and a cannonball, and done. From here, we go to the victory screen where we can choose another random card, gain some experience, and move on. It's worth noting that some of the experience you gain goes towards leveling up your cards as well. Now back at the level select screen, we'll hit the back button in the top left to take us back to our main page. From there, we'll click on the force button. This will open up a selection of units which we can use to customize the waves we will deploy when we're on the attack. As you can see, we've unlocked 3 full waves right now. Little padlocks indicate that you can unlock more of those waves, but we'll get to that later when we start talking about upgrading. For now, you'll notice it's similar to the structure building portion, where you can drag cards onto each wave in order to customize what you deploy. Just as with building your defenses, you'll notice there's a cost associated with what units you can field. I encourage you to experiment with or steal whatever works. From here, let's go back to the inventory screen. From this screen, you can see every card you've collected, or in this case, every card I've collected, with the assault cards being on the right-hand side, and the defense or structure cards on the left. From here, if you click on a card, it will take you to a screen that shows you the stats for the individual units which make up the whole. You can see the HP, attack power, range, defense power, and damage type for each unit in the squad. Defensive structures will have similar statistics. However, in addition to their own individual stats, they may also be capable of spawning units who will boast their own unique identities as well. From this screen, you can view the experience earned by each individual card, as well as sacrifice cards you may not want in order to buffer the cards that you do. Here we'll pour a bunch of cards onto the bonfire and really give this epic skull camp a boost. You see the level increases, which in turn, of course, increases the statistics of the card, including attack, HP, and defensive power. Now, in addition to leveling up, there is a mechanic called Reinforce. This has a similar effect in that both leveling up and reinforcing increase the overall power of the card, but in addition to sacrificing cards, they must also be of a matching rarity and power for reinforcing to work. Here I've got a cannon I want to upgrade, so I think I'll ditch some of these rare Lilith core. Cannon goes up to a +1 rare, and now you'll notice that there are no cards available to reinforce the cannon, because nothing else in the rare category has a +1. Now that we spent a little time upgrading the troops, what say we take the little fellas out for a walk? In someone else's yard, of course. You'll notice the assault map is kind of similar to your own base, but you'll have new spells. Up in the top right there, next to the energy bar, is the spell Deploy. The Wave 1 currently notes the first wave of your assault troops that you'll be sending out on a captured flag. As you destroy structures, your units will claim new flags, which you can then deploy on top of. However, you have to destroy a structure first, and that flamethrower is making pretty short work of our tanks there. Yikes. Doesn't look like we're gonna make it far today. Better send in some more troops. Hey, where are you guys going? Better cast the focus spell to get them on that flamethrower. Which does not seem to be working. The flamethrower, like the cannonballs, deal area damage, but significantly focused on melee units. And fairly constant. Even with my heal spells, that thing decimated my troops. Try something fun. Let's teleport one of those skeletal archers to the seal tower. Well, I was actually hoping for the entire unit, but, you know, one archer's fine. Now, while he doesn't seem to be very effective, you will notice that he's outside of the area of effect of those spike traps. So while he's not directly damaging the seal tower at the moment, he himself is not being damaged. This might seem like a clever scenario, one which I will come out on top of eventually. However, if you notice there's a countdown timer on the left side of the screen. And if that gets to 0, no matter how many units I have left, I lose. Whoever is assaulting in a scenario loses when the countdown timer reaches 0, or if they run out of units to deploy. In this case, I'll throw my last wave at the enemy here to see where we get. Nowhere, and nowhere fast, I might add. And that'll be game. That scenario might have been a little out of my league just now, so I think we'll take it back a page and try this one. Just to show you what victory looks like. Immediately, let's deploy that first round, and wait for the energy bar to come back up. And as soon as it does, I want my second round out there to support the first. This creates a lot of concentrated fire, so I can move from island to island fairly quickly, which will be important just as soon as that cannon starts opening fire on my troops. I don't want them dawdling long. The longer they're out there, the worse it becomes for them. Now that I've got the teleport spell ready, why not do the same trick? This time, sending 2 whole waves immediately on top of that seal tower. And now that the shield is down, once I have the option to cast another deploy, I think I'll let my third wave handle the vault. Fairly clever use of a few different spells, no? Regrettably, one of my giants, werewolf, and healer is off doing their own thing, but the rest ought to be able to take all the gold that I need. At this point, it's worth noting that the HP bars of assaulting units is always displayed in red, defending always displayed in blue, and structures are always displayed in yellow. Despite whether you're the dashing, successful attackers, or the pitifully defeated defenders. Now that we've done that, why don't we take a look at the multiplayer options. In the bottom left there's a button for Defense, which allows you to invite an enemy player into your base to test everything you've built. Or, should you feel so inclined, Attack, right next to it, which allows you to do the opposite. Kick down someone else's door and take everything they've got. Of course, you earn increased rewards for challenging players, much more gold for attacking, or mana for defending, which you can take to status to upgrade your spells and skills. There on the right, you'll see the defense active skills, which are of course those spells you cast whenever someone else is toddling through your base. With offensive skills immediately to the left, and passive skills following that. If you want to upgrade a skill, simply click on it and press the level up button, but note that you must meet the cost in both mana and gold, otherwise you won't be able to increase the rank. And for each rank the cost does increase, but the amount of energy you must spend to cast the spell decreases, so you can cast more of it in combat. Back at the home screen, you'll see the shop and mission buttons on the right hand side of the screen. Under the shop button, you'll find a place to spend both gold and gems to acquire cards of varying rarities. Note that under the exclusive buttons, you'll find cards of higher rarity more often. You can do this as many times as you want, so long as you have the money or gems to pay for it. Gems can also be traded for other resources like mana or gold in varying amounts. Now back on the home screen, under the mission button, you will find access to resources beyond paying for them directly. Completing various achievements or weekly quests will earn you resources like gold, mana, gems, or other items. Well, that should be everything you need to know. So get out of my base, and don't come back without an army!